commercial Gentile cooking, and in general about Gentile cooking, in which way we can eat and when we must avoid. Continuing what we've learned last time about baking bread. Okay, so in general, you must make sure that you have kosher supervision over that bread, and you guys are already familiar with the symbol. In case you don't have and you want to eat bread just plain like that, you need to make sure that the ingredients and the way that you're using it are kosher, which is in commercial pretty hard, next to impossible. You can't really go to people's restaurants, kitchens, or bakery and start to check all the ingredients, and if they're using maybe non-kosher fat, even if they're using it for other ingredients, it's there, it's problematic. Unless you know 100% that they're using kosher ingredients, it might be okay. Okay? If one is constrained to buy from a Gentile bakery, it is preferable to take part in the baking, by which the baking is considered to have been done by a Jew and not by a Gentile. So what does that mean, to take part? Should I put the ingredients together? Should I put the dough into the oven? So taking part is done by lighting the fire. Okay? Sephardim is not enough. You need to do that. Plus participating a little bit more in the process of cooking. But for Ashkenazim is good enough. You can see mashgichim, supervisor, even here in Dallas, that they, when they supervise in the restaurants or in the pizza bakery and all those places, and you have kosher supervision, they don't turn on the oven before the mashgiach, which is the supervisor, comes. He actually have the keys to the kitchen. So he's the one who opens it, he turns it on, and then the rest can be done by the Gentiles workers. Okay? So taking part is done by lighting the fire, but it can be done by throwing a splinter of wood into the fire to increase the heat. If this is done, all the baking done with that fire is Jewish baking, for as long as the fire remains lit. Okay? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shehakol nihya bidvaro. So what if something happened and the light or the fire was extinguished? Extinguished, right? You have to wait to the mashgiach to come back again and turn it on, or any other Jew in the restaurant. So you'll be considered as Jewish baking. Okay, it's under the fire that the Jewish lit. We know that all the ingredients in that restaurant that they're using it's kosher anyways, right? It's important to know, because many people have maids in their houses, private homes, especially for elderly people. Okay, they have it in Israel now. Is very common. People come from the Philippines, India, Moldova, and other places. They're coming and they're staying the patient for a year or 2, 3, or 4 or more, and they're involved in the cooking many times. So they need to know that. You need to be aware of that. Okay. With gas or electric ovens, it is sufficient to raise the fire or the heat, the electric element. With ovens controlled by thermostats, which most are, is even possible to raise the heat by opening and closing the door of the oven. What happened to the oven when you open the door? light is number one, but the heat also will go up because the sensor feels now the increase of the fire, the heat. So even you can do that. It is even possible to raise the heat by opening and closing the door of the oven. When the door is open, the temperature inside the oven is lowered, which causes the thermostat to raise the heat to compensate. Okay, compensate for the cold wind that comes in or whatever. Okay, another point that everybody have to consider and make sure, and here in America you probably didn't see it much, and in Israel is well known. And when we came to America, we were shocked that you don't use a sifter at all. You know, a sifter that you put the flour in and make sure that it comes through a sifter clean, because in hot places like hot environments or countries, kind of like in Israel or the Middle East, the chance of bugs is much higher, so you have to use what do you call this? Let me see what is this now. A silk sifter, because it's very thin. It's very fine, very thin, and that's the only one that is recommended to use. Okay? So in places where the flour or water is commonly warmy, such as in hot or humid climates, even if Gentile bakery bread is customarily eaten, one may not buy it from them unless they are careful about cleanliness and either strain the water or sift the flour properly, depending on what is needed. However, in places where the flour is not usually wormy, but is commonly sifted nonetheless, okay? Who have any sifter here at home? Do you have it? You don't even know what I'm talking about. You have it? But you have the silk one, the very fine one?
No, it's not a real fine one.
Right. What do you use it for? Cheese making? For flour?
For flour. But we don't do that much baking anymore, so we really haven't used it. So we don't eat.
What were your concern when you got it? From stone and stuff like that, or dirt? Did you think about
to make the flour
more? Yeah,
uniform.
more air. Okay. So in Israel we do it in order to make sure that there is no insects in it, and you'll be surprised that sometimes you can find residues of legs or broken. I don't want to discuss you about it. Yeah. One may buy bread from Gentile bakers as long as they sift it at all, okay? Okay. Even if they do not sift the flour very well, it's also okay. In every climate, one must check carefully to see that the bakery maintains the standards of cleanliness and the strictness of sifting and straining necessary for the amount of infestation common. Okay? Basically, when everything is dirty there, you can suspect that there's a lot of bugs, regardless of the climate in that country. Okay? But it's problematic. People don't really visit the kitchen. And now when you go to a bakery, who's checking the kitchen? We only rely on the supervision of the VAD, the local rabbinical authority. Okay? So, this is true both summer and winter. And one may not assume without checking that the bakery and its goods are bug-free. Okay? What is worse, to eat a piece of pork or a bug, or half a bug?
The worst is to eat a bug.
Not what's more disgusting. What is worse? According to the Jewish halacha.
To eat the insects. It's worse.
Insects. Everybody agree?
I remember.
I don't like those. They're a little bit. Did you see the fly? So right on time. The timing is perfect. Okay. So the halacha says, bug. Obviously, it's like 5 times. You ate 5 times pork, piece of pork, because the Torah. We will learn about that. But the Torah warned you from eating something that crawl on. From all the words that we learned, it's 5, and if it's a flying one, it's more. You get up to 7 punishment and warning against eating any insects. But people don't care. They don't care. They think it's what is it? It's a mosquito. It's a part of. It's disgusting, but they take it lightly. They don't check the food. You can have a cup of coffee. You know how many times it happens to me in my house that a fruit fly find himself to my coffee. Thank God I'm drinking it most of the time, 90% of the time, with milk, so I can see. If it's dark, you won't be able to see it. So every time I take a look, and I'm sitting with, if you come to see my house, I always put something on the top as a cover. So no insect will come in. Baruch Hashem, our house is clean, but you never know who's coming from where. One day I left a banana peel, right, in my trash can.
Yeah.
I forgot it there. Oh my goodness! The very next day, I don't. That's what that's one of the mystery that we have here. Where are these bugs coming from? Where this fruit fly comes from? How did they know that I pulled the banana there? Everything is closed. Who told them? Misha, you didn't tell. Okay. It's amazing. Can you find the information about it? Where did they know that to get into my trash can? It's amazing. Okay, anyways, so it's also considered as eating bugs, even if you drink it at all. Make sure your environment is clean and clear, and do the best as you can to keeping it, not only because it's disgusting or not disgusting, because the halacha says we have to be very careful with that, okay? Now, if a commercial Gentile bread has an egg wash on the crust, the bread falls into the category of Gentile cooking and may only be eaten if a Jew throws a splinter into the fire or otherwise raises the temperature. When I was, I remember, I didn't know this halacha, and the first time for me to learn. I knew I can eat only at home and in kosher places. I was very young in school. We went to a field trip into the Galil, the north side of Israel. And I saw one of my teachers approach a lady that she making pita, like that, like a half, I can't describe it. There's a fire with coils, right? And it was like a half, like a pot, big pot, but it's like upside down. You know what I mean? Like you take a big bowl and you cut it in half. And it's very interesting technique. She taking the dough, it becomes very wide, very big, very thin. She put it, you count to 10, and she flip it to the other side, and it's really ready pita. It was beautiful to see it. You see the technique, you see how fast it goes, and people come to see it, and people buying. But I know, I'm looking at it, she's not Jewish. I think she was Druzen. And we all looked at her doing that. And one of my teacher came and he threw a piece of wood into it. And he paid her and he got one. And I'm thinking, what's up with this guy? He's eating non-kosher. I didn't know the halacha then. We were very young. And then he explained everybody what he did, and that is the halacha says, and he checked the ingredients before to make sure she used only flour, water, salt, and I think olive oil was involved there, something. Anyways, it was kosher ingredients. So we've learned that not from a book, from an actual action. It was interesting. So he needs to throw a splinter into the fire. So every time I read that, I remember that story. Into the fire, or otherwise raises the temperature. In addition, one must be sure that the egg are not bloody. You know what's bloody egg? Not Bloody Mary that drinks. There's nothing to do with that. You know what's the problem with it? We can't eat we can eat blood, right?
Yeah.
So we're supposed to check the eggs. Last time you use eggs for scrambled eggs or whatever, did you check the egg? Most people don't check.
You put the glass bowl and you can see the whole thing.
You can see, but right. So the industrial eggs that we have and buy from the supermarket, it's not the farm's eggs usually, because the farm has a male. When male is not involved, there is no risk for blood, because it's not going to form into chicken, right? And the one that is in people that have raised chickens in their house or in their farm, there's a male around. Most of the chance you will. So if you open an egg and you see a blood or red spot, what are you supposed to do? You can take this small dot out and use the rest. You don't throw away the entire egg. So in addition, one must not bloody. Okay, Sephardim consider the egg a superficial ingredient and not a cooked item, so that they permit the bread like any other, provided that the egg are not bloody. So it's not an issue for Sephardim, the egg crust. Okay. Even if one is lenient and eats commercial Gentile bread during the year, during the 10 days of penitence, like the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, the day of Teshuvah, okay, one should make an effort to eat only Jewish bread if it is available. So living in Israel, it's almost not a problem. You have Jewish bakery, all the bread, most of them, 99% are from Jewish bakers. There's no issue. The issue starts in America. Someone asked me the other day, what's best? To get a beautiful, for the sake of Shabbat, the beautiful challah from the supermarket. They make it really nice. They have a variety of them. Or to bake at home. It's not going to be great like the one professional you get in the supermarket. Which one is best, you think? Homemade. Why would you say that?
Because you control it, you know what the ingredients are.
They are both kosher 100%. Let's say 100% kosher. The kosher-wise, they're on the same level.
Homemade still?
Homemade still, why?
Because you're putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Actually, the woman, she needs
Oh,
to do it.
good. So that's the blessing. That you're making the efforts to make from scratch at home. Besides the fact it's healthier, it's better, the blessing that you receive in doing such thing is much greater. Okay? And don't forget to say, I'm cooking for the sake of Shabbat. I'm buying this flour for the sake of Shabbat. You get an extra mitzvah when time you do that. Okay. What about a field trip? People go out to a trip, hiking, whatever, so coast to coast. One who is careful not to eat commercial Gentile bread and is traveling in places where Jewish bread is not available may eat commercial Gentile bread if he has no reason to expect to find Jewish bread within the next 4 miles. So you check your GPS, there is no them, you can, no problem. along his route, okay? He does not need to go out of his way to obtain Jewish bread, even if it is available with only a short detour. But if he has a reason to expect to find it within the upcoming 2.5 mile, he may not eat Gentile bread, but must wait.
Here with a Walmart on every corner, you can pretty much find certified.
No problem.
Yes.
Correct.
That's kind of a.
Listen, people sometimes go to country areas, or you're driving long miles, there is no Walmart available. So, all right, now going to a Gentile cooking, the Torah states, it's from Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 28. Okay, provisions me with food for money, and I will eat. Give me water for money, and I will drink. Chazal, derived from this verse. Who is Chazal? Sages. Chazal, derived from this verse that food which must be cooked can only be, you need to listen to this. This is a very important rule that we are studying today. And it's basic in the Jewish kosher kitchen. Halachot, laws. Chazal derived from this verse that food which must be cooked can only be bought from Gentile raw, while food which can be eaten raw, like water, which can be drunk unboiled, may be bought from Gentiles cooked. We'll explain that. You understand so far this statement? Okay. They therefore passed their edict prohibition, edict prohibiting the consumption of Gentile cooking only on food which fulfills the following two criteria. What are the two criteria? That we cannot eat from them. If these are the terms, you cannot eat. One, it is food which is, I'm quoting, fit for a king's table to accompany bread. I repeat, fit to a king's table to accompany bread, which we call shulchan melachim, king's table. I mean, it's important food. What do you expect me to know what they're serving on the king's table? So the rabbi says, whatever they serve in, I don't know, on a weddings, on event, on a nice restaurant, it's considered as a food that you serve on king's table. Okay, so for example, what about rice? Is that considered? We'll see it. Okay, one, it is a food which is fit for a king's table to accompany bread, or which is fit for nobles and important people. That's category number one. Number two, it is a food which is not eaten raw. For example, potatoes. Okay. But which must be cooked in order to be eaten. All right? So far, so good? Okay. Let's explain that a little bit more. Without these two conditions, you can be lenient. It's a simple food, you can be lenient and eat from it. Okay, so I can buy water in any store. I can buy vegetables and fruit in every store. It's raw food. Unless it's not, it's okay. Sometimes you go to a store, you have to be careful. You see beautiful apples. They all look like they came from a factory. Look the same size and they're shining. So they're waxing it, right? So the wax can be just, what do you call this?
It's like a shellac from the bug, right?
That's the color you're talking about, the red color?
No, there's also like the stuff that you...
It's come from pigs, maybe. Pigs or animal fat they're using to make it shiny. But the Vaseline, no, the petroleum, right? Paraffin. stuff like that. So I can't tell, I see it shining. If you take an apple today, you scratch it, you see that there's a white thingy coming out of it. You can even Google it, see YouTube. It's not healthy to eat it anyways. Okay?
Wax.
It's waxing, but what the material they're using. I know it's a wax. Huh? Paraffin. But sometimes it could be, in some places, some countries, they're using animal fat. Okay, maybe it's cheaper over there. Especially, we're saying like South America, that it's much more cheaper there. The meat is cheaper. The industry is eating meat, and it's very big. So they have a lot of fat to use. Okay, these two conditions are both necessary, so that if either one of them is missing, the food is not subject to the edict against Gentile cooking. This follows from the principle that one rules leniently regarding rabbinic edicts. Okay. The Radbaz, another rabbi, great rabbi, Paskin, takes the language of Chazal literally and interprets fit for king's table to accompany bread to mean that only food which is usually eaten on bread, such as tuna, or meat, is subject to the edict against Gentile cooking. According to him, food such as rice, pasta, etc., is not subject to the edict against Gentile cooking, even if it is fit for a king's table. It says food that you don't eat with bread, it's not so important. You can buy it anywhere and eat it anywhere. Okay? But the halacha is not like that. The Shulchan Aruch disagrees, however, and says that the requirements to accompany bread is an alternative to being fit for a king's table. The edict against this opinion applies to any food which can stand alone as a dish on a king's table, which means a food that they serve in a wedding. They're serving rice. They're serving rice. So that means that it's important food. Even if it is not served on bread, and the phrase to accompany bread qualifies the edict to include condiments. Okay, if you go to Asia, there's a lot of street food, right? I don't know in America if it's so common, maybe in events, but in Asia, it's very common. A lot of people, many people eating outside. So people think it's okay to eat kosher fish, for example. Or even here in America, I hear more than once people saying, I was in a non-kosher restaurant, but I ordered only salmon. I went with my office team. They can order whatever they want. Someone told me about a restaurant, Olive, what they called? Garden Olive, something like that they went. Huh?
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden, it's a chain here, right? Right. And he said, I ordered only salmon. What was the dish? What was next to it? It was vegetables. I made sure that he doesn't even understand the problem behind it. What's the problem? Can you tell me?
One of these is the plate.
The plate, the kitchen, the ingredients, the salad.
The knife.
All the above. The knife, the fork, everything. So when you buy vegetables today, let's say parsley, lettuce, cilantro, whatever, cabbage. Okay, what do you do? What's the process of koshering it? It's kosher by itself, but we're afraid that we only have bugs.
We put it in the water
Washing it, it's the first step.
and look in it.
Looking at it is number 2. Number 3 is you have to cut it, if it's a cabbage, for at least 4 pieces. or the lettuce to cut it and get rid of the bottom part. After washing it and looking carefully that there's nobody, and you will find, believe me, mosquitoes, you'll find a lot of surprises there. After washing it, you need to soak it in a bowl, okay, with room temperature water. And what to add to the bowl with water?
Is it salt?
Salt, not going to work, not going to do anything.
Baking soda?
No, baking soda won't do anything. Ma? What kind of a soap? Dish soap. Dish soap is the best. You people in the past used to put salt, vinegar, and all that. It's not effective. You put it for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Then you wash it so you don't have dish soap taste in your salad. Okay? And then you're good to go. Okay? Do you want to tell me that they did it in this Olive Garden, restaurant? Okay, most likely. Anybody that goes, even, I don't want to, God forbid, I'm not saying anything, I don't want them to sue me or something. In any restaurant in the world that doesn't do it, anywhere, you're most likely eating bugs. Take it as a fact. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, so what do you do? So you don't go to this restaurant. You don't see, you can go there. In case of emergency, the halacha can be lenient to go into this restaurant. For example, to use the restroom. If someone will see you, forbid, but it's an emergency. You got to go, or you need to get water, stuff like that. Other than that, you have to choose another location, another place to be. Okay. What if this restaurant sells kosher items? For example, you can buy a bottle of juice, okay, juice bottle, that's kosher, there's OU on it, and a wrapped donut, for example, or cookie or cake. Both of them kosher, but yours to eat it in a non-kosher restaurant, a non-kosher environment. Can I do that? I can only eat and drink it outside, not inside. Because people see you with a yarmulke, see that you're Jewish, they think it's okay to eat there. Right? But you can definitely eat it, if it's kosher product, outside, elsewhere. That's not a problem. The requirement that the food be fit for a king also has different interpretations. Some opinions hold that even foods which people commonly serve to familiar guests are subject to the edict against Gentile cooking, even if they are not fit for serving to important people. Bottom line, we learn here, you don't buy food outside unless you know it's kosher. You don't sit in certain places. Well, we just investigating the halacha, how it was made, so you'll know what we're talking about. The categories of respect.
There's two of you.
Still me. The categories of respectability and consumption cooked. Okay, consumption cooked or raw change with place and time. There are foods which, in certain places, are considered sufficiently respectable to serve guests and are never eaten raw, whereas in other places they are considered common fare or are often eaten raw. I give you an example that I noticed in America, and I've never had it in Israel, and I was in shock. Nonetheless, I like it today. Zucchini. You eat it raw? You can eat it raw. I never ate it raw before I came to America. I didn't even think about this possibility. Or eggplant. Okay, and stuff like that. Okay, which is okay. It's both kosher, no problem. Thus, in one community, such a food, okay, would be subject to the edict against Gentile cooking. And in another, it will not. Likewise, There are foods which once were very expensive and were never eaten raw, but which are now eaten raw all the time. For example, cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower, what is that?
It's
Remind me.
like white, it looks like, kind of like broccoli, but white.
Right. Cauliflower is an example of such a food. It used to be subject to edict against Gentile cooking, and now very well may not be. So, you mentioned broccoli and cauliflower. This is not. It was not here 60, 70 years ago. It's engineered. You know. Many of the fruits that we see today were not exist many years ago. You want to compare watermelon. The watermelon you see today is not the original watermelon. If you see the original watermelon, you'll be amazed. Look much smaller. Inside could be white or yellowish. Today it's red. It's big. You know, so it's totally different. It's kosher. It's not a problem. But that's a side note. Okay, we have time to do the other one. Let me see. Any questions? We good? So I think the next topic, or we'll continue next time, it's going to be a little bit more details about lighting the fire and setting down the pots. If I summarize today's class, I would say that always to be on the safe side, buy only from a kosher places and kosher food. In case of emergency, in case of you don't know and there is no way to find kosher food, for example, food for babies. Okay? So call the local VAD, best with picture. Usually they can respond within a few minutes. You can be still in the supermarket, knows if you need for me to give you their phone number, I can send it on the group. Rabbi shows, you take a picture, you send it to him, just say question mark or say kosher, okay or not okay, and he will write you back recommended or not recommended if he's available. I've done it more than once. Some kosher signs and symbols I'm not familiar with. It could be a VAD from, Canada or London that I'm not familiar with. But they know. This is their job, they know. They tell me it's okay, recommended or not recommended, okay or not okay. So that's the best way to go. Okay? We keep ourselves clean, not only spiritual cleanness, but physical cleanness. Because everything we eat affects the neshama, the nefesh, that's in the blood. Okay? So we're really strict about these things and careful about these things. That will make us closer and closer to Hashem. And the neshama is open to receive more Torah. And you start with eating kosher and being strict about it. That's called cleanness. And the Torah bothered to put a lot of commandments about it and the whole version about it, the book of Devarim and other places in the Torah, which means it's very, very important. Okay? Any questions? On behalf of Ohio Israel Foundation, I want to thank you for coming and participating in the Torah class. May Hashem bless you with all the berachot in the Torah. Amen.
You as well.
Thank you.